People who have good emotional intelligence have what I call aha moments. This to me is much more practical than Goleman's definition. We can go, aha, I get it. Number one, I'm aware of my emotions and my response tendencies. I am aware that when I'm driving in rush hour, that I'm going to have a tendency to get angry at those other idiots out there who don't drive as I think they should. Okay? It's my favorite word, idiots. One time when my daughter was small, I was driving her to work, daycare. I was going to work, taking her to daycare. And there was a period of time when my wife was not able to drive for a couple days in a row, so I drove my daughter every day. And then the first day she gets back in the car with my wife, this was her little expression: "Mommy, where are all the idiots today?" I apparently used that word a lot, you know. I didn't realize that. Anyway, I'm aware that when I'm out there, and I grew up in the city of Chicago where we had a lot of traffic, and I became an aggressive driver, but now when people don't do what I want them to do, I'm aware of that. I know that. So sometimes I make choices. Maybe I'm not going to go on that road at this time. Maybe I'm going to take a more scenic route or a little slow. Yesterday I was driving home and it was in rush hour, and I said, you know, I don't need to get there. Why should I be frustrated? I'm going to go this way. It takes a little longer, but I don't have any of the frustration. There's no stop and go on that other road, so I'm going to go out of my way a little bit just to do that, okay? So that's the second thing. You got to have a plan for dealing with difficult people and difficult situations. You got to think about this. Your awareness is you say, I know my trigger points. I know when my buttons are being pushed. And if I'm aware that somebody's pushing my button, then I can respond differently. I can respond differently to what I want to do, okay? And if I have a plan, you have to have it in advance. You got to think about it and figure it out. Right? Now, finally, the third one is I'm going to allow for the fact that other people have these emotional tendencies also. Okay? Just as I have said and done stupid things, we all have said some things we wish we could take back. We all have said things in anger and emotion. I wish I didn't say that. We all have done crazy things. Sometimes we've even broken stuff or torn stuff up, or in anger or some kind of emotional state. Just as I know I've done that, I know other people do too. Okay? So now, when someone, let's say someone in the office I have trouble dealing with, and here they come, oh boy, okay? I already know it. I know every time they come, it's a little pushing of the buttons. Okay, so I'm aware. I'm ready for it. Secondly, I'm going to have a different plan to deal with them. And thirdly, if they're in my face about something, I'm going to say it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about them. Okay? So see what happens is we get into this fight or flight thing, right? The minute someone comes to us and says something unkind or something goes wrong, we think we're being attacked. And so right away the shields come up, or we're going to fight them, or and then what happens is we start breathing, our breathing gets short, we start sweating, and then that helps us not think. When you don't get good oxygen, you're not thinking. All because I think I'm being attacked. But if I'm aware of the fact, let's take a simple one. Somebody calls me an idiot. Well, that's kind of irritating because I went to school. I have a good education. I think I'm a pretty smart person. So I right away, don't you call me an idiot. What's wrong with you? Don't you know Now I'm attacking and fighting and defending myself. I know I'm not an idiot. I know I got the diplomas and the success to prove that I'm not an idiot. So when they're calling me an idiot, it must not be about me. It must be about them. Okay? And if I can make that distinction and realize who it is and when it happens, then and it's different people, different times, different situations, and sometimes it catches me by surprise. But if I know the trigger points and I'm aware of it, I can make alternate decisions. And that's the real key. So be aware, have a plan, and allow for the emotions. Let me give you a couple examples of how this happens. I was working in an office several years ago, and came into an organization at a level, and another person I had known years ago was working at that level, and I came in right at their same level. I knew this person from way back when. I knew that this was going to be a little threatening to them, that the company brought me in here. So I said, well, we'll have to deal with it. We'll see how it is. I also knew the person was emotional at times, okay? What happened was, when I walked over to meet the person, I walked into the room, and he goes, Carl Flowers. Now, some of you know me, know that I have a Facebook page, and that's my picture, right? That's me, okay? So I said, yeah, I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, that's what you look like on Facebook. I said, yeah, okay, I thought it was a joke, and I can live with that, okay? The next day, I walk into a meeting room, okay? And when I walk in, there's 3 or 4 people already there for the meeting, and this person goes, Carl Flowers, and announces to everybody, and does that, like he's mocking me, I thought, that's a little weird. So then I went back and I said, okay, we're going to have a deal here now. I can see this. Sure enough, third day, walked into a group of people, Carl Flowers. And I thought, all right, he's pushing my buttons somehow. And by the way, this is a thing that I think men do more than women, but we all kind of see who's the top dog, And I said, I don't really need to play this game, So I have a choice. I can go talk to him about it, sit him down. There are ways, we'll talk about a few expressions later today, but there are ways to sit down and talk to those people, but I thought, this isn't even worth it. I mean, why do I want to make a deal about this, right? So I said, let me come up with another plan. You know what? If he insists on doing this, I will just ignore it. I'll go into the next meeting, and I'll always have a piece of paper in my hand. And when that happens, I will just divert the subject someplace else. So sure enough, I walk into the meeting room, and he goes, Carl Flowers. And I just had my pad paper, and I just turned over here, and I said, did you get this email? And started talking to somebody else. And I don't understand what that means, okay? And this went on for about 2 weeks, and then it stopped, okay? If you keep doing things the same way, like responding to those things and getting in fights, you're going to get the same results, and it's going to go on. But if you change your response, something different happens, okay? And that's the key. Now, I find the place that this happens the most is driving a car, for me. Driving a car is a metaphor for being in the office. The way we behave behind the wheel of a car oftentimes is the way we behave with people, except it's worse in a car. Why? We're stuck in a box, and we can't communicate. There's no way to, well, you got a few choice gestures, right? but see, I'm of the belief that if we're going to have cell phones, that we should be required to put our phone numbers on the windshield of the car. So that I can say, Gary, did you not see the light turn green? Let's go, it's a 50-mile-an-hour zone, you're going 30. But I can't do that. All I got is the horn and a gesture, right? So it's very frustrating, right, in a car? So, there are toll roads springing up all around the country, more and more. We've had toll roads here for a long time. There used to be a time 10, 15 years ago when you got on a tollway, you had to wait and drop your coins in. And remember in rush hour, that could be 5, 10, 15 minutes in line, just kind of waiting to drop those coins in, okay? Now it's all electronic, okay? So I'm going to take you back about 15 years ago. Driving to work one morning, driving down what's called the North Dallas Toll Road in Dallas, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, it's rush hour, cars are moving 50, 60 miles an hour. Have you ever made a mistake when you're driving?
Yes.
Yeah. No, yes, okay. So, yeah, I was in the right-hand lane. For some reason, I wanted to get in the center lane, so I moved over, and I did not look behind me. Oops. Okay, so immediately, I pull over, I hear squealing tires and honking horn. I look in the rearview mirror, there's a big guy in a big white pickup truck flashing his lights, getting mad at me, red in the face, giving me gestures and yelling at me. I go, made a mistake. Oops. Zoom over to the right lane, back over to the right lane. He comes around me at 60 miles an hour, cuts me off, and slams on the brakes. Okay? Now we're both trying to control our car and slow down. All the while he's going, in the rearview mirror and yelling and screaming. Now, I told you I grew up in the city of Chicago. I was a pretty aggressive driver. I used to, in my younger life, prove to guys like this that I was a better driver than they were. This is called stupid behavior, okay? You keep doing the same things, you get the same results. I moved, I had a family, I got older, I got responsibilities. I said, I just need to change my life. That's not a healthy behavior. So I mentally put the brakes on. And in this case, physically put the brakes on. So in the office, when somebody gets in my face, what I want to do is get right back. You say something to me, I'm going to say something to you. I never liked the results I got from that. So now somebody's like that, put the brakes on, say, couldn't be about me. They must be having a bad day. What can I do differently? How can I work with this, right? So now this guy's screaming and yelling at me. I'm putting the brakes on because I say, why should I go to work mad today? Because I made a mistake. He's having a bad day. Why should I have a bad day? So, I'm going to control my life. But I am a communicator, right? He's giving me a message with his gestures. I want to give him a message. So I've come up with this message right here, okay? You remember what this is? This is from Star Trek, Live Long and Prosper. And in fact, it's Mr. Spock, the Vulcan, who has no emotion. All logic, no emotion. So what mentally in my mind, when somebody gets in my face, I say, hey, live long and prosper. You know, in a car, when they're gesturing me, I just go, hey, have a nice day. You know, I don't know if they see this or not. I can't do it with this hand because the fingers won't work anymore, but I'm pretty good at that one, okay? So I just let him go. He takes off. We go about 3 miles and we come to the toll booths. He got in the wrong lane. I pull up right next to him, thinking, oh man, this could be bad. He's a big guy. You know, what if he's getting out of the car and whomp on me or something? What if he's got a gun? What if he misunderstood this? Okay, so I'm looking over at him saying, do I have to flee? Do I have to? I'm going to check him out. So I look over. You know what he's doing in the front seat of the car? He's sitting there going, I thought, this is amazing. I did this for me to calm down, but when I did something different, he did something different. Yeah, it wasn't my intention to change his life, but hopefully maybe he got just a little message that day. Maybe we don't have to behave that way, right? So that's what I mean is you got to figure out plans. You just got to have a plan for yourself and put it into place.